13. Unlucky for some, but that segment was better. 2:30. Come on, let's push it. All right, time for my first ever attempt at Alpe Du Zwift. I figured since Tour Fire and Ice is included in Tour De Zwift, we might as well tick off 2 boxes with 1 stone, as it were. On the minimap, this looks like a pretty gentle run-in, so just keep things nice and chill until the Alp. We tested FTP last week, so the exercise today is let's find out how long I can actually hold that new FTP number for. I do not expect to be able to hold it for the whole of Alpe Du Zwift. And before anyone throws any time predictions out there, I definitely do not expect to be able to climb it in under an hour. Maybe in under an hour and a half might be more realistic. But just completing it would be good because this is their first ever attempt. And it is significantly longer than anything I've climbed before. Significantly. Because of it being longer than anything I've climbed before, I have come prepared. We've got a crispy chunk square. I did have 2 of those, but I ate one before because I'm greedy. Got a bottle with some carb mix in. There's about 50 grams of carbs there. I've got a bottle of water, and I've got a mobile phone with 1 number 9 already typed in, ready to quickly call an ambulance.
Remember what I said about the running being gentle? Well, it wasn't. But a surprise 10% gradient wasn't going to keep us from the main event.
All right, here we go, fellas. Let's see how long I can ride at threshold for. Just got to settle in, find a nice cadence. And that cadence is too slow.
Finding a cadence that felt comfortable was a problem, especially at the start. The variable gradients and also just not being very experienced at climbing were making it seriously challenging to settle in.
All right, it's one switchback done, lads. That's, basically nearly finished. Whew.
Despite not feeling comfortable, the segments were still getting ticked off.
All right, 2 segments down. Couple of short ones now. Another one down. 19 to go.
The goal today was to see how close to FTP I could get for the whole climb, or at least how long I could hold a number close to it. But that was a tall order, considering that before this ride, my lifetime best 1 hour effort was only 193 watts, and my new FTP allegedly is 232 watts. Despite still not really being in a rhythm, I was making progress, and soon we were already at hairpin 15.
There we go. Another one down. Little bit below where I'd like to be power-wise, but finding it hard to kind of settle in at that 230 mark.
Finding a comfortable cadence to ride at the right power just wasn't proving possible. And at this point, I pretty much decided to do whatever I could on each segment and stop chasing the right watts at the right cadence. Just ride, basically.
13. Unlucky for some, but that segment was better. 230. Come on, let's push it. This guy's on a mountain bike. He misinterpreted what the mountain meant.
And for a stretch, I did actually start to feel, relatively at least, quite good, and was able to find some humour in the suffering, especially as I prepared to pass a rider with an afro that reminded me of a friend from university.
Let's go, Tucker. Nice afro. Used to live with a guy at university with an afro like that. Whenever he went out to the club, we were just like, look, if you get lost, just meet at Jacob's Afro.
As I got further and further into the climb though, ticking off corners 10, 9 and 8, I was beginning to feel myself fade.
Not sure how much longer I can hold yellow numbers for. Legs are really struggling.
Not quite sure taking such a big bite of the Rice Krispie treat was the smartest idea, but I did manage to get it down. Eating during hard efforts is something that I suck at, to be honest. So if you've got any tips for me, please let me know. Maybe I should be relying more on gels or something. From this point on, I was in a battle just to keep it moving, and I have to give a shout out and a big thank you to Katie Corey, who was in my chat for the entire climb, helping coach me through it, as well as Holly Bergin, who was doing the same for much of the second half. Even though I was now in the struggle, I was still making progress up the mountain, but any sort of fun or humour had long since left the building, and I was reduced to random grunts of pain and complaints, with the odd positive reinforcement thrown in, if you can call it that.
Oh god, this sucks. It's just time and pain. It's just time and pain, that's all it is. It's easy. My god, it's a long section.
Even though I increasingly felt the need to call for some divine intervention, I was doing it, ticking off section after section, and yeah, the power might not have been quite what I wanted, but I was still in threshold-ish area and crushing my previous 1 hour PR.
Ah! Is that the last corner? That's gonna be the last corner, right?
From here on out, the job was done. This segment was the victory lap. There was no way I was grinding to a halt with only a few minutes left. This climb hurt a lot, but I massively exceeded my expectations. Sure, I didn't hit the 232 watt target, but if I'm honest, I hadn't expected to. I thought I'd blow up at some point and have to ride it in yo-yoing between zone 2 and zone 3. But for the most part, I'd kept to around threshold, and I added basically 30 watts to my lifetime best 1 hour effort. I'm happy with both that and the time, especially considering it was my first ever attempt and a good 50 minutes longer than anything I've climbed before. The goal for next time will be that coveted 1 hour mark, but that might have to wait until after day 200 of the Cycling and Zwift adventure. If you've got this far, thank you for watching, and if you could throw me a like and a subscribe, I'd appreciate it. But either way, I'll see you next time.